Chainlink is in the news again. It's the best performing cryptocurrency in the top 100 today. Let's have a look at what's causing all of this. Let's have a look at on-chain data, see who's buying, who's selling here. Let's try to estimate how much longer this rally can last. So currently we are at $16.29. We are up 16% today. This month we are up more than 20%, and this year almost 150%. Now here's the announcement why everybody is getting so excited about Chainlink. There had been a new pilot conducted, so a new test project that distributes price feeds for traditional finance. So that's a smart net asset value pilot with the DTCC. There is an entire report on this pilot. I will put the link down below to that report. And so Chainlink is trying to expand its reach to traditional finance. Right now, the main usage of Chainlink is in DeFi. So in decentralized finance, for example, on borrowing and lending platforms like Aave. So if you deposit your collateral on a DeFi platform and you want to borrow against that collateral, the estimation of how much the collateral is worth and how much the loan is worth, that kind of data comes from Chainlink. Now let's quickly have a look at the announcement. There's a 3-minute video by Chainlink about this pilot.
I think it's a very significant step forward in a number of ways. So the first way is that it shows that large market participants are coming together to use blockchain, smart contracts, and Oracle networks together to solve very tangible, immediate problems for how the global financial system operates. And that this is being driven by, I guess you would say, the world's largest CSD that clears the largest amount of securities in the world in the quadrillions. So the fact that this large organization and this large collection of participants have come together to solve a problem using blockchains, smart contracts, and Oracle networks really proves where the blockchain technology adoption cycle is right now. And it's starting to show real value. That's the first thing that I think is very meaningful. The actual implementation was very interesting in that it allowed the elimination of a huge amount of paper documents and spreadsheets and various things that were sent around between these asset managers to be condensed down into a single smart contract that acts as a data container into which relevant data goes and from which they can all read. Now that's a huge step forward in a very specific singular process, specifically related to a small subset of what they do. And this subset became orders of magnitude more efficient. So I think the conclusion of everybody is that the efficiency gain from this is massive. The next thing that I think is interesting is the role that cross-chain will end up playing in situations like this when this data needs to flow across different chains. And all of this comes back to the same thesis we've had for a long time of a unified golden record. So SmartNav, the SmartNav contract, can be viewed as a unified golden record where a bunch of critical data is going and then being read from in order for people to manage various key operations. I think the next step is how to expand this to more key operations, how to allow it to happen across chains, how to allow the data to flow across chains, maybe to be aggregated from many chains. And then eventually all of this data will begin, in my opinion, relating to on-chain tokenized assets as well. So I think this is the first step in an extended, long journey about how the global financial system is going to work differently. But I think the participants, the fact that it was kind of hosted and made to work with the DTCC and their use of Chainlink and CCIP and the various parts of the data side of Chainlink really shows that there's a big future in making the global financial system work in an efficient way. That's what actually everyone wants. And that blockchains, smart contracts, and Oracle networks have a very large role to play in doing all of that.
So we can see how Chainlink is trying to expand outside of DeFi, but also how it's trying to position itself within the real world asset narrative. As in, you have a real world asset, let's say an apartment somewhere, and then you tokenize this, potentially making it tradable in fractions on the blockchain. Now we all want to know about price action, right? Where could the price go? And for that we have to look at various things. One thing that's super important is tokenomics. It's demand versus supply. Is there potentially supply expansion that can depress the price? The answer is unfortunately yes. Because have a look at the very long-term chart of Chainlink. This looks all fine. We went up more than 10,000% over the long term. But have a look at the same time period, this time though for the market cap. The market cap of Chainlink from the top to today went down by maybe 50% or so. due to that bear market. The price itself though went down much more than that. It went from $52 all the way to $16. So a drop of 2/3, not just of 50%. The reason for that is token inflation. It's more and more tokens that get issued to the team, and the team can then release those tokens to the market, depressing the price. So there's no real official schedule for that. There's simply just a team managed wallets allocation. But on Messari.io, we can actually see how the supply is developing over time on chain. And compared to 1 year ago, the supply grew by 13%. Now this is a Chainlink US dollar price. This is the kind of charts most people look at. But check this out. This is Chainlink relative to Ethereum. And why do we want to look at relative pricing? It's because we take on more risks by buying an altcoin, right? If we buy Chainlink instead of Bitcoin or Ethereum, then we tend to take on more risk. We should get more return for that additional risk. Historically though, that did not necessarily happen. During a bull market, Chainlink outperformed Ethereum. During a bear market, it underperformed. And those kinds of underperformances can be very, very massive. This is a move from top to bottom of 93% underperformance. Now with this announcement today, with the rally today, of course, Chainlink is outperforming. Here's Chainlink relative to Bitcoin. Are those two curved lines really reasonable? I don't know. It's simply interesting how those bottoms and those tops align. Here's the Chainlink dominance. So this shows how much of the entire crypto market cap is in Chainlink. It's currently at 0.4%. And yes, there could be upside, but there's also downside. I believe to a degree, Chainlink is pretty much a levered position on Bitcoin and on Ethereum. So if Bitcoin and Ethereum goes up, then Chainlink tends to go up more, and vice versa. That's of course outside of days like today when we get these big announcements. Let's have a look at some on-chain data. Let's have a look at the number of buyers and sellers, both for retail, but also for the large whale wallets. This is the long-term development. On the left side, we've got the number of wallets that have at least 100 Chainlink tokens on the Ethereum chain. So at the current price, that's roughly $1,600. That's what I'd consider retail. In the middle, we've got medium-sized retail. That's now at 10x in minimum holding. So that's now at least $16,000. On the right, we've got the whales. That's at least $160,000. So you can see this time and time again. Small retail tends to just buy and hold. The larger whales, they tend to get in very early, but they also sell sometimes. In the last month, Chainlink now net went up by 20% because of the recent news. The number of holders didn't really grow though, and that's across all different holder thresholds. So this is the same kind of charts, but only looking at the last month. Really, whether or not it makes sense to buy Chainlink probably depends on where you see the overall market going. I'm not really a fan of buying during times of high attention because there's a high correlation between attention and price. When attention is high, when all eyes are on one asset, the price tends to be elevated. When then there is news about a different cryptocurrency, then that attention moves over there, and then Chainlink can potentially bleed again. So there's no rush here to buy in. If you believe fundamentally in the narrative of Chainlink, then there's plenty of other times when attention is lower to buy. It's always important to remember in all of that excitement that the team does get quite a bit of allocation over time, and that of course can depress the price. So the development team has to push the project further and further, creating more demand, and that demand has to outgrow the additional supply issuance. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly, also on Chainlink. Feel free to also give this a like. It helps the channel grow. If you've got Telegram, feel free to join us. Link is down below.